Hey, everybody, you caught me unawares there. It's that time again. Can't believe it's that time again, but it's time for drinks with Dee Dee.
And John.
That's me. Click. Love you.
Love you
I
too.
mean it.
I do.
By the way, this is apple pie moonshine from none other than John Schneider's Revenue's Reserve. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, now I cut mine down just a little bit with some Everclear. Wait a minute.
That's cutting it down.
I didn't say I watered it down. I just kind of, whoo, love that. If you like moonshine, and come on, who doesn't like moonshine? I mean, have you tried it? I'm not talking about that old smoky stuff. Not talking about that stuff that they sweeten with like a lifesaver. No kidding. Like that's how they.
We'll say allegedly because we may have gotten bad information, but we're entitled to say, because of free speech, that we don't like theirs. We like ours.
Well, we like ours. I actually until Revenue's Reserve came out, I thought their stuff was great. That's why I thought it was great. But that was when I was seeing through a glass darkly. I did not understand how great moonshine could be, how smooth moonshine could be. Except, of course, from way back when we were doing, oh gosh, what we had just come to Hazard, Kentucky to do the benefit concert in like 1982, right? Long, long time ago. And someone in the local police department said, "Hey, do you like moonshine?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And I hadn't really had much of it yet. But he took me to the impound room somewhere in the belly of the police station, and he said, this is the best stuff in these mountains." And I said, "I thought the revenuers came in and destroyed all that." And he said, "Well, they do, except the stuff that is really, really good,
And they keep it.
and they keep it.
And then drink it.
So, and then they drink it at, office parties and things like that. So that's when the first notion of Revenuers Reserve came from. The stuff was too good for the revenuers to bust up. But that was 1982, and it took meeting this one over here some decades later to actually get it off the ground. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to show you the commercial again for John Schneider's Revenues Reserve. There are two commercials. I'll just show you the first one that introduced the whole notion. Bill Gribble, who was also in Daisy's Song, the second ever episode of Dukes of Hazzard, is playing the Revenuer, and he's pretty great. So go ahead and roll that, Tony.
50 some odd years ago. Ain't it rough in the Southlands?
Get your bags, boys! We're gonna bust this up a still!
But I ran away for the first time when I was 4 years old. I'm a freeborn man.
Get the
My home
bags!
is on my back,
Bring my jugs.
and I know every inch of highway,
Up.
every foot of back road, and every mile of railroad track. I got a lady in Cincinnati. Got one in San Antonio.
Even Uncle Jesse would be proud.
Always love the gal next door, honey. Every place is home. I'm a freeborn man. My home is on my back.
John Schneider's Revenuers Reserve. Even the bad guys know it's good. There you go. So that's fun. And that is the Challenger from Stand On It and Poker Run. That is where that car came from. And at the moment, it's in Hazard, Kentucky. And we're going to have to go there in the next couple of weeks because we've got to give it a, what would you call it? Like a celebrity makeover?
Yeah, there's going to be a flurry of activity in Hazard in the next, especially the next year. Show, getting things ready for that. And you never know, there may be a store there. There may be all kinds of cool Dukes.
We
of
may
Hazzard
jump a
stuff
car
going
there
on.
or
You
two or
never
three or
know
four.
what can happen.
But I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to. I want to go and shoot some second unit stuff, some stunt stuff this summer while we're not rushing with a filming schedule as well. What we were going to do is go to Hazard and do one episode. But what we've decided to do because of the 50 state tour, We are going
Very involved.
very involved. We're going to go shoot some parts of it, but then we're going to come back in the summer or spring. I think spring is
Next
better
year,
because it's too hot.
Oh gosh, it's
Spring of next year, and do 5 episodes just like when we first started Dukes of Hazzard. Not doing 5 episodes like those, but we are doing 5 episodes rather than just one.
Yeah, we're just
And
adjusting.
that's going to take a little
schedule.
more prep. Yep. it's gonna take a
Scheduling
little
is
more
always, I mean, it's always difficult. Sometimes it's the hardest part of all. Scheduling is tough, but it's fun, and we're doing great things, and the tour is going to be amazing, and then be fun and very, very varied. And then we'll get back to Hazard and have some fun there.
Yep. So that's what that board still is back there. Still working on the board for the different episodes of the Earls of Perry. So that's going to be great, great fun. Been working on a lot of music for the Earls of Perry as well. So this way, we're going to have some of the second unit done, which means we're going to be jumping some cars. We're going to be rolling over some cars. Going to have a lot of great time with that. But it also means
Like it's no big deal.
no, that's not. That's
Hey,
the
Mayor
that's the fun
Hazard,
part.
Guess what? Newsflash.
Who doesn't want us to jump cars? And
You know, no big deal. For
it's going to be a lot of fun. And
a natural and hazard, of course.
what?
A natural and hazard, like it's no big deal there. Or no
That's
big deal
just
for
them
you.
Perry, them Earl boys jumping a car. No, it's the old Earl guy.
So we're in Madison in our beautiful place, and it's so hot outside. We couldn't do it outside. We golfed all day yesterday, and we really, the last 3 holes, we were dragging. I mean, it was so
It's
hot.
odd here because we've been to Vegas. I played 36 holes of golf in Phoenix one summer. It was like 120. But it is true that is a dry heat. That is that heat is different than this heat. By the time we got to the 17th hole yesterday, I was like, oh my God. You know, if I'd hit the ball somewhere where I could actually find it, like the fairway, then maybe I wouldn't have been that worn out. But it was something. It was only 92. I think it got to 96.
Only, but the heat index
Well-
was like 100 and something.
Yeah.
Seriously, I said the heat index 100 plus. That's too hot, but we did it anyway. We played in the morning, and then the afternoon got
Covered
to be
Bridge. In
unbearable.
fact, here's a little
It was
video.
beautiful.
Here's a couple pictures from Covered
Beautiful.
Bridge. So it's really nice, and there's a lot of water there, obviously. So it was a beautiful day. But we did start one day this last week. We started at 7:30, which was great. But that's the
sunrise.
day. That's the day at sunrise here in Madison. That was the day that I decided we're gonna push. We're gonna push our
Oh,
golf
boy.
clubs today
Because they got warm there too.
in a push
but
cart.
Push cart made it hard.
We did the first 9 holes with a push cart, but not the second 9 holes.
And the guy there in the office was like, when you turn the
In case
corner,
you change
in
your
case
mind.
you change your mind. And guess
Wink,
what?
wink,
We
nod,
did.
nod.
So I guess he kind of thought with the heat that we would change our mind. And he was right. But we had fun.
It was great fun. Course is in great shape, by the way. Really
Happy
great
birthday,
shape.
Mayor Bob.
Happy birthday, Mayor Bob. Now that's today as we're filming this, but for you folks, it's what day is today? We're doing this on a Tuesday. We're doing
Tuesday.
this on a Tuesday where all the news is there are even some people in the MSNBC and ABC and NBC and CBS world that are actually reluctantly applauding what President Donald Trump did in the last couple of days.
Hard to believe. And it's not
hard
even
to
April
believe.
Fool's Day.
It's not even April, right? But I believe that what he just did was in a matter of hours, and I think it's arguably the longest war
And
in the
that
history
just
of the
went longer.
world.
Yeah.
So there are those out there who are saying, "Oh, he's not going to start any wars," and look what he just did. No, he didn't start this.
And between Israel and
finished
Iran,
it.
in case you've been living under a rock or on a ship or something, which we'll get to the cruise ship info.
Oh, you have more info on that?
Well, I just think we reiterate the fact that John is doing a small go cruise. We're looking at a Dukes of Hazzard cruise. It's going to be so much fun this year. And this dress that I have on, I bought it on the Caribbean cruise I went on, I don't know, I guess 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I think it'll be a Caribbean cruise this time. That's the sound of it. It could always change, but
My
right
folks
now.
always called it the Caribbean.
Okay.
What's the movie with Johnny Depp called?
I think it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is. It's the Caribbean.
I don't know why I said Caribbean.
A lot of people say Caribbean.
but that's where we'll be. And I think it starts July 26th. A lot of you have asked for information on that. They just got off the boat for this year, so they'll give it to us. But we're all done with the paperwork and the schedule, and it's going to
Should be a lot of fun. Should be a whole lot of fun.
So it
We'll be
will be
doing,
warm, but at least it'll be a breeze around. I think a lot of you have said that you love to cruise. You love cruising.
Oh, you know what
It's
we're
fun.
probably going to be doing is finishing up the Earls of Perry and then going on the cruise, or going on or starting Earls of Perry right after. I think it's going to be too hot if we started this time of year. So I want to get it. I want to get it done by 90 degrees. Yeah, I think it'd be great because but I'm so excited about the cars getting fixed up. So this is going to
Half of them
be
have been shipped.
yeah.
Half of them have been shipped to Hazard.
Well, then I've got to go. We've got one more. The Challengers are 2016. The one I have to go pick up from Kevin. Hey, Kevin, I hope you're doing well. Is it might be a Scat Pack car, but it's got the shaker hood on it, very much like the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. So the hood is separate from the air cleaner. The air cleaner sticks up in the center. So that is an SRT8. I don't think it's a Scat Pack. It's an SRT8. But when you hear the show, they're all going to sound like those amazing 900 horsepower Hellcats, or maybe even a Helephant. She doesn't know what I'm talking about, but maybe even a Helephant sound. But we're gonna make sure that the car on the Earls of Perry, it's kind of a trick, because when you're filming and you have the car on, you want the car to be quiet enough that you can't really hear it over dialogue, especially when you're driving down the road. So you'll notice, if you really have good ears, you'll notice in a lot of movies where they're really driving the car, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, for example, Vanishing Point, you'll hear an undertone of the actual car. I think the Vanishing Point car was a 318, but in the movie it was a Hemi. So they'll overlay the sound later, but if you pay close attention, you can still hear the sound of the regular. I had one person catch that on Poker Run. They said, "How come I can still hear that? I can hear that six-cylinder, that little." They were not kind to my six-cylinder Challenger, but how come I can hear that underneath all that Hellcat sound? Well, it's kind of one of the things you do in the movies. But the reason why the six cylinders are great is they're totally dependable. Kind of like in the Dukes of Hazzard world, the cars that we used the most because they were the most dependable were the 318 cars. Had a lot of 440s, but those things were just very problematic. Anyway, I'm very excited
Speaking of
about getting.
cars,
Yeah.
you're excited about the show, but what else are you excited about this weekend?
Oh, the car show this weekend is going to be great. And I've heard some fantastic things about the Somerset Car Show, that it's like Hot October Nights or Hot August Nights. It's like Cruising the Coast. It's like the greatest car show in this part of the world. So I'm very excited about that.
And then Friday night, you give your concert at the Virginia, this beautiful
Right.
historic theater.
I'll be singing some songs.
I think I saw 2 seats left, maybe. And by the time you see this, they'll be gone. But it'll be sold out for sure. I mean, it was just like this one seat, on one side, one seat on the other. Those single seats.
Aw.
Those little single seats are hard to sell, but it's going to be
Single
fun.
seats are hard to sell.
Single seats are hard to sell,
She sells single seats by the seashore.
but it'll be amazing.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
The next day, and then
And then Raymond's going to jump
over the fountain.
over the fountain.
And it generally,
Generally in the fountain.
it might be. So John keeps telling me,
No, what he'll do, I jokingly said I was more worried about the fountain than I was about Raymond. I'm not worried about Raymond. But I'm not worried. If the fountain is the first thing he goes over, no problem. What I'm worried about is whatever's down the road, down the road in line.
We'll be way behind.
In line.
Way
But
to the side.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. If you have not, this sounds so silly because I've seen so many cars fly through the air, but if you've never actually seen a car jump, then you need to come out, because it's a spectacle. And how they land is nothing like, we did this on the show. Mm-hmm. And they say, oh, I could see that, that front end kind of got a little bent. I'll tell you what, that front end, most of the time, if we landed on pavement, which I think Raymond is going to do, the shocks, the front end actually comes right up through the fenders. So it's the quarter panels. It's a severe landing.
I think this weekend is the place to be, Somerset.
So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly or Somerset. Yeah, so Somerset is the place to be. The concert is Friday night. There's some other music before us. It'll be me and the Stars and Bars band. Then on Saturday, we have the car show, which is going to be phenomenal.
I think we'll start about 1.
Start about
One
what?
night, yeah, we'll be outside and jumping.
I'm not sure when they're jumping the
Signing
car.
autographs and all of that, but the car thing, I think, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's in the early evening, I believe.
Okay. Should be a lot of fun. So
So
come on
fun.
out to Somerset. And we are working on the app, by the way. Glenn and Glenn, we have two guys named Glenn. They're working on the app, on the portion of the John Schneider app that will point you toward all the concerts or all the shows or whatever it is we're doing on the 50-state tour. So it'll tell you when and where, as we know.
And please,
So we
more
don't know yet, but we do
suggestions.
want more information, more suggestions. I sent you one. Somebody sent me this morning.
Yeah, we're getting wonderful suggestions.
yeah.
I mean, we want a variety and we want events that reflect the state.
Right.
Yeah. So Rhode Island
Like,
is very different than Florida. Montana is incredibly different than Nevada. And
Like we could play Alcatraz in California. We could
We
play
already have
Sing
our-
Sing in New York.
we already have our California date.
Oh, well, that's great.
Well, that's the Hollywood Bowl, so that's pretty cool.
I'll bet you I could go back to, I've got this prison thing in my head. I could go back to Angola and play there with the Stars and Bars band. That would be great. That'd be fun. They do a prison rodeo. They still have the rodeo. I think they're the only ones that still do the prison rodeo. Oh my God! So I have arts and crafts. I have a couple of belts that inmates made me from Angola, but also they all this everybody who has anything to do with the event is either an inmate or a guard, but they do this crazy thing. They do a bunch of crazy things, but one of them is they play poker at a table out in the middle of the rodeo arena, and then they let the bull out. And the person that wins, well, there are two. One is the last person not standing, the last person brave enough to remain seated at this poker table while a bull is going and knocking people around. But there's another one, and I have this in the motorhome. There's a little bag that they put in between the bull's horns,
This is sounding worse and worse.
and
I just want to go to the Hollywood Bowl.
the inmate that gets that bag wins that particular goal.
So
It's a
fun.
lot of fun.
Sound like fun.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And these folks, these are serious bull riders, serious bulldoggers, serious headers and healers. I mean, it's a real rodeo. So look that up somewhere. And if we wind up playing the Angola rodeo, then I'll put that on the app. It's a lot of
I
fun.
look at it all the time because it's again, it's not like a regular concert tour because we're going to do whatever the heck we want, and we're going to make the schedule work. The only thing we will guarantee is there will be 50 events in 50 states by next July 4th. So it's going to be crazy, but it'll be fun. It'll be great.
We're going to do it.
And we got the motorhome back. Thank you, Cunningham Campers. We picked it up yesterday. And we have, what is it, the Blue Ox? Is that what it's called?
Blue Ox, yeah, we have the Blue Ox, which enables us to tow the
Raptor.
Raptor behind it. And
Yesterday, John did that for the first time.
Oh, my
and
God.
then he unhooked it for the first time. And I have to say, honey, I was so impressed. I was like, this is really complicated. But
it's really complicated.
And then hooking it back up, you said it's even worse.
Well, it's. I tell you what, it's. I've had this kind of a hookup for the motorhome before, and it gets problematic. But always before there was like a cable or something to disconnect the drive shaft to make it so you could tow the vehicle, because now we're in this whole electronic age, computerized age. There's like 6 things you have to do in the proper order in order to put the Raptor into towing mode. And I recorded it, and I did it yesterday. I think it's going to be okay, but taking it off is easy. but putting it back on there and making sure that you're not, dragging a screaming raptor,
Gosh,
making the
I hate the thought of that.
making the rear wheels like your General Lee big wheel, because you kept sliding, slide. Every time you did that, you kind of had a flat spot on one of those plastic tires. Anyway, it was fun. We drove it back from where are they?
Jeffersonville.
Jeffersonville, Indiana, and great folks. They fixed all the problems underneath from when
Very
the tire
nice.
blew. So now it will level itself again and all that. It's really, really great. And when I towed the Raptor yesterday, it was like it wasn't even there. So, but it
But I'm
was
glad
there.
it was.
Thankfully. Yeah, it was there.
I was like, what if it falls off? But
my
it is
God.
very.
Oh, there's a lot to it.
A lot to it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot
Good
to it.
job. And then, John, I'm telling you, your ancestors must have been German engineers because then he comes back. He's like, oh, I just bought this cabinet. And he assembled the entire cabinet after a full day of golf, after putting the tow thing on the motorhome with the Raptor, undoing that. And then he comes home and he's like, well, I'm just going to put this cabinet together. And he did for the bathroom. And then he scraped off the wall. I mean,
Well, that was this morning.
was-
So here's
oh,
my
you scraped the wall this morning?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was last
So here's my theory. My theory is that you can't finish something that you. One of the reasons why people never accomplish anything, some people just don't accomplish anything, is because they never start.
That's
So
true.
last night, I decided I was going to put that thing together, and it's one of those cabinets that goes behind a toilet, so you can put toilet paper and stuff in there. So it just kind of hides stuff away. But as I was doing that, I was looking. This wall on our home here is it a common wall? Is it a common wall with the building next door?
No.
Well, so
We're
there.
downtown. Most walls are common. Ours is not for some reason, which is really rare and very fortunate.
So there's a little space. I think it's a fire gap in between this building and the building next door. This building was a men's store, right? But because of that, the bricks, I guess, kind of sweat as it's getting more humid here. I think humidity gets trapped in between the two buildings. So
When it
the,
rains,
we
goes.
don't have any of that in here, but the paint had kind of bubbled up. So I thought, well, I'm just going to scrape that off. So I got a big old scraper, and I started scraping it off, and oh my God.
That, honey.
What?
Because I noticed it this morning. I thought you did it last night when you were.
No. I did it this morning. I got it all in my eyes. I got it everywhere. But so now that I've done that, now I think I was just going to do that and then paint. You can't do that because it's not even. So now we have to go back to the hardware store and get some plaster or putty, or I'm not sure. I'm going to have to YouTube it just like everybody else and figure out what I need to put on there before we paint it. But I did that because I knew if I scraped all that off, then it would drive me crazy to look up there and see that it needed to be spackled. I think that's it, spackled and then painted. So I would do it. So I kind of forced myself into finishing this job by making it as hideous as I can, and it's pretty ugly in there right now. It's pretty ugly, and we have to go get another vacuum cleaner because we do have a vacuum cleaner downstairs, but it's
industrial.
It's an industrial wet vac, dry wet vac.
Yeah, that's not
Milwaukee
what
is fantastic, but I don't need that up here. I just need a little shark.
And I had housekeepers coming in, and John said, "No, we're not
It
doing
was
that.
so
We're going to do it
ridiculous.
ourselves." And I'm like, "But then, why don't we, give them some business
Those
or whatever?"
housekeepers
And John
rip
said,
you
"No,
off.
I don't think so. It gives us more time to do other things we need to do." But John's not like that. He wants us to do it ourselves. Okay, no problem.
It's our mess. It should be our problem. But no, what was happening, and I said that they ripped it because on the other two floors, this was a men's store, and then a whole bunch of stuff got brought in here from California and brought in here from New York. So
And Florida.
really, and Florida. So really, what there was a little patch of floor about that big, and that big in other places. And that's what the housekeepers would come in. They'd come in. They couldn't possibly. What are they going to dust your dust? So they
You're exaggerating. It was
no,
not that
I'm not.
bad.
So
But
what
you know,
they
wash-
did is they cleaned the
wash
one little
shower,
bit of
wash
floor
the
that there
toilet,
was.
wash the sinks, all those things, and that's very helpful. But I know we'll just do it ourselves. I know you don't like that.
I like to do dishes. I like to fold
He
laundry.
does, and he can.
But we
fold
don't even have
underwear
we
in
don't
his
even have
feet.
laundry. We don't even have a washer dryer
Well,
here.
because we have to figure out the hookup. So we send it out.
Well, somebody else do that because if I get involved in electricity, you know
We
what
send
happens?
out the laundry.
That's
we send
it.
out the laundry. They do a great job, but we can have our own. We'll figure it out. Well, we have the best building. It's totally cool. We have a beautiful basement, a first floor, second floor, third floor. And
We are
then
now on the third
fifth
floor right now.
It's really a fifth floor because the deck is another set of stairs, and it's going no, and it's
Yeah,
going
but it's only like 6 stairs. This one right
Let's
here,
go.
the last thing you do before you get to the space where we live is 22 steps.
Well, we have 5 sets
That's-
of stairs. 5.
Do we have 5?
Yes, basement,
One? Oh, well,
First
yeah,
floor.
but we don't, yeah.
and there are 2 there. And then you've got this, and then you've got these stairs. That's 5 sets of stairs. And then if we take the ladder to go on a rooftop, that'd be kind of 6. But I don't think we should be doing that because we thought about
Once we
doing a
get to-
rooftop deal.
Well, once we get the
The new deck.
deck done back there, then I'm going to ask the
We
guy
have
to
a
take
deck,
a
but
look.
we want a bigger one. We want to extend it. It'll be great. I mean, your idea.
I know, and it was a good one. But I would like to see if there's any room on the roof. This is a beautiful building.
It is.
I don't know if you can tell. You can't really tell. The ceilings are at least 12 feet. They may be 14 feet on each
They are.
floor.
Yeah.
On
They're,
each floor.
and I think they're higher on the lower levels than this one, and this is very high as well. It's great.
Yep.
There's lots of room. It's so much fun, and it's going to be beautiful when we're done. There was a similar building in town, and they ended up on the Magnolia Network, and I guess that was
Right.
a pit. They were in terrible shape. Our building's in beautiful shape.
They had holes in the floor
We're
and all
just
kinds of
doing the
stuff.
creative part.
So anyway,
John's
Let's talk
mind
about
thinks
something-
that way, and I don't mean he's loco. I mean he's brilliant. That he likes to think about these creative ventures with our home, and it's fun.
well, I rearranged this room.
It's beautiful.
Pretty good, huh?
Great.
We just need we need another stand. We have another television. We need to put another television.
Yeah, we
Isn't it
have
amazing?
gigantic television sets, and we've got like 3 or 4 of everything.
Well,
Refrigerators, microwaves, TVs.
I moved the refrigerators the other day. That was fun.
And we just have a ton of stuff. I mean, I still have the kitchen that I won on Let's Make a Deal. It was a space age kitchen, and the
Explain that.
refrigerator.
You were on Let's Make a Deal?
And the refrigerator has a TV on it. It's really fancy, and we've never used it. Those appliances have never been used.
No,
Never.
because there's pieces somewhere in a box with some stickies and a Sharpie somewhere in this
And the
building.
pool table. It's a gigantic pool table.
Oh, my
It really
God.
is. With Babushka. What is it? Babushka.
Bella, what are
Balabushka.
you doing?
No. Balabushka pool cues. So don't step on my glasses, honey.
Oh,
My readers. They're very expensive.
yeah.
But they get to me because I keep having to.
There we go. 31 minutes. All right, we got to talk about politics of some kind. I mean, the world is.
Well, the big thing is Israel and Iran. They're still fighting. They've been fighting since the beginning of time. And Trump,
Well, arguably-
President Trump got furious because he had the ceasefire. It was amazing. It really was. And then Israel, or I don't know if it seems like Iran did one little thing and Israel just came back. And Trump said, or President Trump said, you are not going to do that. You send those planes back. And
Turn
they
those
went
things
back.
around.
And then he
those
dropped
things
the
around.
F-bomb. He was mad. I've never seen him do that. I don't think anyone has. I don't think he's done it before, but he was so angry about that
Yeah.
that he dropped it. They don't know what they're doing. Okay. So yeah, he was mad.
Well, yeah, he was mad. But
But it was no
They-
small thing. I mean, my gosh.
hasn't now,
Scary.
you're a history major. I'm not a history major. Israel has basically been defending itself for thousands of years. Israel has never been the aggressor until last week. right?
Well,
Israel, and I'm all for it. Israel finally said, you know, I was bullied. A lot of people were bullied as a kid. And finally, at some point, you say, you know what? No, not anymore. So Benjamin
Israel is
Netanyahu,
zero tolerance because they have to be.
well, yeah, but so for the first time, certainly in Netanyahu's reign, he retaliated. And that has to feel good. I mean, at some point, it has to feel good where you say, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. And I'm going to punch you in the nose, right? Jack Reacher. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the nose. So that's what they did. And I think it was such a shock to Iran because, you know, Israel was always this place where they could basically bully and do whatever they wanted and kill whoever they wanted.
So Israel would not sit there and get bullied. I mean, they're really zero tolerance. That's
Well,
why
they are now, but they haven't.
that's why every citizen has to be in the army, and I agree with this, or the military for 2 years. Women, men, doesn't matter. You're in that military for 2 years, and
Oh, yeah.
I think we should do the same thing.
My buddy Sagi Kiev is the body beast, and he's from Jordan.
So is Wonder Woman. Gal,
Oh yeah,
I never pronounce her name right, but Gal Gadot, I think's her name.
I think it is Godot.
She
Like
was in the army
what's it?
for 2 years too.
Margot.
And then she was like Miss World or whatever. And then Wonder Woman. So amazing, amazing woman. But yeah, she too, because she's Israeli and everyone has to be in the military for 2 years.
Right.
I absolutely think the United States should do the same. You know, and it doesn't mean you're carrying around guns. You can be doing paperwork or whatever, but you serve the military. You serve your country.
But there's nothing wrong with
for
carrying
2
around
years.
guns.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
But I was just, my only point was I think that they have now switched, which is blowing the minds of everyone in Iran, that
Well,
they have now switched
I think you're
from a
thinking.
purely defensive posture. No, am I wrong?
I think what it is that Obama, was so, I'll say allegedly because you have to be somewhat careful about these things. But remember, he said allegedly millions of dollars on a damn plane to Iran. Not helpful to Israel, okay? Biden, not helpful to Israel. But then President Trump, and I would say President Bush to a degree, he really wasn't for Iran. But President Trump has been a champion for Israel in his first term and now in the second term. And that changed everything. Poor Israel absolutely had to be totally defensive because you had Barack Obama and Joe Biden not helping them at all, in fact, hurting them. So I believe that's the big turn, President Trump. So when he
Oh, yes.
so when he put the peace deal together, the ceasefire, well, not peace deal, but ceasefire, he was furious when they weren't paying attention, and he yelled at Israel and he yelled at Iran. He's like, enough already, and dropped the F-bomb. And guess what? The ceasefire came back.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. So I believe President Trump is the difference there. And Israel
No,
should be
absolutely.
very, very, very grateful. And of course, we support Israel, but come on, do what the man says. President Trump does know better.
Absolutely. And he's got
A great team.
a wonderful team. I love seeing him and Pete and it's
Marco
just
Rubio.
well, yeah, yes, and JD.
And JD
It's
Vance.
a great picture of
That
the
board.
four of them, and you can just tell. There's a difference between being a bully and someone that says, "Look, this is going to stop." And we're going to do whatever, peace through strength. We're going to do whatever we have to do in order to stop this because people are getting killed. And that's not right. It's not okay.
Well, Iran
There
would
are
have
no
launched
acceptable
nukes.
levels. There are no acceptable levels
Iran would have
of
launched
civilian
the nukes.
death.
Ali Akbar, whatever, and they strap themselves with bombs and strap bombs on kids and women. They don't care. They don't have respect. And again, let's say allegedly, and let's say that not everybody, because it really isn't fair to put everyone in that
No, certainly not.
category. But the government, forget it. The government and the military, they had to be stopped because they were going to have nukes and they were going to bomb Israel. You know that. And they could have bombed us too.
Well, and then they would get their jollies. They would, they would bomb us. They'd bomb whoever they wanted.
And now they don't really have much to do. They don't have
So
much
it had to be, that had to be
It
stopped.
had to happen.
And it should never have started in the first place, right? It should be, no, you cannot have this technology. You
But
can't.
allegedly,
And if-
Barack Obama started all that. Remember sending all the money on the plane over to Iran? Why would you do that? I still don't understand.
If you're sending so
Other
much
than-
cash that you need a plane to transport it to people who do October 7th, they hadn't done it yet, but people who have that mindset, people whose doctrine is death to Israel, death to America, and
You're selling
you're
videos?
going to play nice with those. What are you thinking?
No.
And again, it's not the Iranian people. The Iranian people, I'm sure, are quite wonderful. Everybody in the world, wherever you live, is just trying to get through the day. Okay. I want the people I love to be protected. I want to have a wonderful time at the end of the day with my family, or I want to dream about having a family one day. People aren't involved in all this nonsense. It's just those other people, those military people who make hundreds of millions, if not billions, if not now trillions of dollars on the discomfort of their people. These are the people we need to worry about. And that's what was going on.
And that's a good point, honey, because you cannot say all Iranians.
Absolutely
There are
not.
Iranian Jews, and here's the thing: they're the ones tormented the most.
Oh, I can't imagine.
It's terrible. And actually, believe it or not, and I forgot about this until something you said sparked my memory. I was in a movie where I played the Queen. Believe it or not, or Iran. Now I know
Wait, what, of Iran?
I know I don't look Iranian, but this queen looked kind of Mediterranean, and for whatever reason, I resembled her enough. And Paul Sorvino played the Shah, so I played his wife.
He played the Shah of Iran? Oh
Well, the
my
good
God.
one, the good
I
one.
want to see this movie.
The good one, the one that was like, they got rid of him. I mean, they had to leave. I mean, you know
Okay,
that story,
okay, so
right?
yeah, no, but look, what's the movie called?
I forgot.
It's called I Forgot. You can see it on. No, look up.
right, I
what
gotta
was
look
your
this up.
What was
Now
your
I'm
last name
embarrassed.
in that? Were you
Oh,
Sorvino?
it's a queen. Yes.
I know, but were you the Queen and you were Sorvino?
Yes, I was Miranda Paul.
So look up the movie. Just say
The Price for Freedom.
it just that
Okay.
just came to you like ah.
Yes, that's how my head works. It's a little weird.
When it
Anyway,
works, that's
when
how
it
it
works.
works.
It really works. So, Price for Freedom,
Give me my
and
timer back.
and Paul was the Shah that they kicked him out because he was a good guy, and then the Queen, that was me, and then
Were you a
Martin.
good guy, a good girl, or a bad girl?
Yeah, I was a good queen
Okay.
for sure. But Martin Cove,
Vita.
you know who he is? He was
Yeah.
the bad guy.
Oh, he's great. He came to our event at the Hollywood Museum.
You all know who Martin Cove is? Sensei.
Look him up. He's great.
From
He's really
Cobra
great.
Kai, and before that, Karate Kid.
He plays a
And he
great,
said-
mean guy.
Sweep the leg. Now I know you all know with Rob Mancho, and then so good. He said sweep the leg, but he played the bad guy. He played the bad, like Ayatollah or whatever they called him in that movie, and then the Shah. See, if you look it up, you'll see. It's hard for me to explain because that's the thing. This war and these fights have been going on since the beginning of time, so it's hard for us to understand. But we really do need to remember that there are good people in Iran. And
Absolutely.
these poor Iranian Jews, they've really suffered. I mean, it's just not good. So let's pray for them and let's send good thoughts and be happy that President Trump, at least for now, there is a ceasefire. Thank goodness.
Yep.
And there we go. So we're so lucky to be in our country. We're so lucky to be where we are, and we have the best country in the world. And no wars, no fights here. Thank goodness. So, and hopefully
Yep.
with President Trump there, he'll keep things at bay.
Well, you need to know that my favorite description of peace has always been that peace is that brief period of time where you have your foot firmly planted on your enemy's throat. That's why peace is something that is kept. Peace is not something that is achieved because this may sound negative, but if you ever garden, if you leave your garden alone, the natural state of the garden is weeds.
Yep.
So you either need to learn how to weed really well, or you need to fall in love with the weeds. There's nothing in between. Why in the world we keep planting these expensive plants and hating these weeds when the weeds, a lot of them are actually quite beautiful. Anyway, we need to understand that I believe that if Iran had nuclear capability, They are the type, by their own definition. This is what they say they will do.
And again, they are
But this now
those
here's
people, not all Iranians.
I know, but still, even the ones who say they will do that, I don't even fault them, because who doesn't want to be the leader of the world, like Martin the Martian? Who doesn't want to? So you can't fault them for their own. Now you can kill them for their own nature. You know, if their nature is to attack you, then you have to do what you have to do. But these folks, they haven't been hiding it. I think China hides it. I think China shakes our hand with one hand, and they've got this knife waiting for an
Yeah,
opening
like we
in
don't
the other hand.
know.
Yeah, like we
Like
don't
we
know.
don't know. Please.
China, and I
They're
love
very
Chinese
patient.
people. So it's not against Chinese people.
It's the Chinese
against the
government.
leadership.
It's the government.
The leadership. But by the same token, I don't blame them for wanting to be the single largest, most powerful world leader on the planet. You can't blame them for that, but you have to know, I know what you're doing, because that's what we are, and we want to hold that. We want to continue to be the single most dominable,
Powerful.
indomitable. I can never say that. What is it? Abominable? The snowman.
abominable
We
snowman.
want to be in charge. Okay.
And why not?
So-
We should be. We're the best country in the world. Get over it.
I do.
China.
I believe I do. Well,
Russia.
they're not going to get over. They're going to keep trying, and I don't blame them for keeping trying to do that. But I do blame people who will intentionally and cavalierly exterminate a civilian population for their own good. That bothers me. You're supposed to protect those people. That's what our last administration did not do. They did not protect our people. They let in millions of people.
Oh boy.
Yeah, my God.
Probably. I mean, it's hard. There were so many problems with Obama, and I always go back to Obama because I feel like Joe Biden is an extension of Barack Obama. That's my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
It all started there, downhill, and these young people that don't want to work and don't love America and complain that the United States is bad, and you have to give me stuff. And I'm like, what planet are you on, let alone my country? That's not what capitalism is all about. We wake up early. We work hard every day, all day. Now, we do play hard as well, meaning that we play golf
Absolutely.
or whatever. But when we're not golfing and we're not, and then we have our toast or whatever, we're working the rest of the time. Because that's America. That's what's great about our country. And that's what I love about Donald Trump. A very hard worker. Anything he does, he works
Boy,
hard.
nobody can take that away from him.
Yeah.
That's for sure. My God.
We're like that too. I mean,
He's got people half his age that are
they
going,
can't keep
oh
up.
my God, I can't keep up.
Yeah, they can't keep
Crazy.
up.
Crazy.
So yeah, but when we're not, because we post the fun stuff, but other than that, I mean, we're working all day, with the plans and the business and that sort of thing, and putting together the cabinets.
No writing, yeah, scraping the wall.
But we love to work and we love American. We love being Americans, meaning that we want to give, and we want to create. I mean, that's what being an American is all about, in my opinion. And that's
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
and that's why this next year, when we go to each state, and we figure out what's the flavor of that state, what is special.
And maybe
about
what's the
Montana.
state song? Like
Right.
we were in, I almost got to sing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me, I'll call me when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away." Yeah,
Uh-oh.
see? So we almost,
So that was Louisiana.
and next year I'll be able to sing that because they had some issue where a friend or a relative of someone in
It was a rapper that came.
I know, but they were a relative. No, they were a relative of someone in the House of Representatives, and they
in
came in.
Louisiana
They came in and they sang a rap song.
with bad words.
Imagine that, a rap song with bad words in the Capitol. My God.
In the
Anyhow,
chambers, and there's something sacred about that. That's why you shouldn't wear T-shirts. And in fact, John, you don't even know this, but this one lady John had these very nice jeans on. They were dark, they were pressed, they looked good, but they were jeans.
Oh, to have jeans.
She went crazy on that. She goes, I can't believe he's being so disrespectful, but you look good. It was great. But
Why are you telling me that now in front of all these people?
well, because it looked fine, but point being is there's protocol.
No, but
So
I asked, can I wear dark
he did.
jeans?
I wasn't done yet. John asked, our state rep that we know, who I've known forever, Mike Baham from Young Republicans when I was chairman of the country, and he was in Louisiana. And
Say
John,
that again in case people didn't hear
I
that.
just
You were
wanted
the
to make sure
chairman
you knew
of the Young
of the
Republicans.
country.
Not,
now-
not a regional
And
chairman.
now I'm just drinking.
She was the chairman of the Young Republicans for the United States of America.
Well, it was fun. And then before me was Kevin McCarthy, and he was Speaker of the House. Then I don't know what happened. I don't know where Kevin is right now. I was
Where Kevin went.
Kevin, if you are out there, please let us know where you are.
And by the way, Mike Pence, if you're watching this now,
Oh.
please stop giving your opinion about stuff. Because, you had a great opportunity to at least
I'm just going to drink.
have some checks and balances on the 2020 election that you decided to throw away. And that was your decision. And of course, so I applaud you making your decision, but I do believe it was the wrong decision. So stop trying to be relevant now, because you're not.
So switching to Mike Baham. So Representative Mike Baham, who's been in Brentwood forever, and John was recognized by the Louisiana House of
I
Representatives.
was. It was great.
And they wanted him to sing, You Are My
You're
Sunshine.
my sunshine. Why?
And then, because it's a state song.
There you go.
And there was a past governor who did it like every Friday or something like that.
He wrote it, I think.
Well,
The governor of Louisiana wrote that
which is
song.
amazing. I love that song.
Yeah.
So John will be the inaugural singer when they bring that back. Mike is going to, and I'm sure the law will go through. So Mike is going to propose the law, file the law, or the bill. Sorry, the bill. And I'm sure it will
I'm a
become-
Bill, and I'm going up to Capitol Hill. Schoolhouse Rock.
Well, how's it go?
If you don't know Schoolhouse Rock,
just
You've
a bill.
got it.
Oh no, that's what it is. I'm just a bill, but I'm only a bill, and we're going up to Capitol Hill.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
But today, and they're talking about it being a law, but today it's still just a bill, but it's going to become a law. And John Schneider, will be the inaugural singer for bringing back the state song being sung
Son, that's right.
in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, it
So
was
it's
great.
exciting. But it was a step from happening. Somebody said,
Oh my gosh, and the
He
young
said,
lady.
there's a problem with that. And we're like, what? And that's when he said that a rapper came in and dropped bad words. So they're funny about singing songs in the House of
Well,
Representatives.
they ought to be.
But John's going to
And
be
I
the
will
first
not wear
guy.
jeans the next time. I will
Yeah.
not. I didn't want to wear jeans this time, but
No,
you
he
kind of
did
live
ask.
out of a suitcase.
He did
That's all right.
ask, and
Yeah.
and then Mike said it was okay, but this one lady went nuts. But it was
Well, I apologize to you, young lady, because I agree. I agree that you need to dress appropriately when you're there. You need to respect the room that you're in and the people that you're in that room with. I thought I was. I apologize. I really don't like to wear
But
jeans.
bottom line is, John had khaki pants and he had the dark jeans, so we thought we could get away with that. But clearly, with you, we didn't.
Yeah.
Next time, he'll have a full suit on. He had a tie on.
By God.
He shaved his beard. And
I shaved my beard
slicked
for
his
that.
hair down and looked really great. But I'm telling you what, this lady, she noticed that he had jeans on, so that won't happen next time.
No, and I apologize, like I said. So anyway,
But they were all
let's
sweet.
pay attention to what's going on in the world right now, especially, what do we have? 11 minutes. My goodness, how time flies when you're just rambling.
Having fun. I'm having fun, aren't you?
I am too. I'm having fun.
We always have fun with the podcast, and we love your suggestions. And people do give a lot; they're very thoughtful. I
Oh, yeah.
love our friends, and I hate to say fans because it looks like, you know what I mean. But I love the comments. And again, think about every state. What do you think of states that you are fond of or live in? What do you think is a great place for us to go? Because we really want to be thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Not just concert venues and singing or whatever. No, this is about the history of that state and what makes Missouri special. What
Yeah,
makes
where would you
Nevada
like to
special?
shine a light?
Yeah, what makes Nevada special?
You know, where in Nebraska would you like to
Montana.
shine a light? In Missouri, where would you like? You know,
New
where
Hampshire.
in yeah, Block Island in Rhode Island. That's where I think maybe going to try to do something out there because my stepmom Sheila, who had her birthday last week, love you Sheila. She's on Block Island. I think she may be there now.
And then, you know,
So yeah, she's 90 plus.
wow.
I won't give that away. She's 90 plus.
But you already did.
And she is still managing the Airbnb. They didn't call it that back
Wow.
then, but she's still managing that property there, and she worked for the airport there.
No, she's super
my
smart.
gosh,
I've met her
and she
once,
worked
but
for
she's
Reader's
super
Digest.
sharp.
She was a
I love
high level
Reader's
executive,
Digest.
female high level executive in Reader's Digest in the '60s.
Back in the day.
She was Barbara
Good
Stanwyck
for her.
of Reader's Digest in the '60s. So yeah, so it was it's really good. So maybe Block Island. I love Block Island.
I love every state
You
in
ever
our
been to Block
country.
Island?
I haven't.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
haven't. But
So-
and here's the other thing: we're going to visit certain states more than once. You know, California, we mentioned Hollywood Bowl. We're going to end up back there probably. Kentucky, we live there. We're in Kentucky all the time. We just got booked again in
Kentucky, baby.
We're in Kentucky. And in fact, if we were on the porch, you would see Kentucky. It's right over there.
Right in
fact,
that window, through
in
that
fact,
window back there.
in the window, if you see trees back there, that's Kentucky. And it's so exciting because this weekend we're doing Somerset, but next weekend is the kickoff, July 3rd, late.
Yes.
John Schneider and with Rusty Bladen, who is a
Rusty
local,
Bladen, who we sat down and had
local, wonderful
great conversation with him the other
phenomenon,
night, and his wife
legendary guy.
and their daughter. Met their son as well, but their daughter who is leaving the nest for the first time, right?
Yeah. She's an artiste.
Absolutely. So we're going to give her some pallets or
Yes.
some fabric.
Yes.
Anyway,
But it's going to be this weekend in Somerset, but next weekend, July 3rd, late, come to Madison. And it's free. The riverfront, the city is providing
is the
that.
regatta free?
No. But Thursday night is.
But you could see the regatta from wherever you are here. But,
But
oh my
Thursday,
God.
but Thursday is kind of the really big kickoff of the regatta stuff. The boats are going to start coming in any minute. In fact, there's probably stuff going on in the river already. But Madison Regatta is a big deal. The hydroplane races. I mean, in fact, the
If
guy.
you don't have any idea what we're talking about, go to wherever you rent movies and rent the movie Madison. So Madison is about this beautiful town, and it's about the regatta. And it's about Miss Madison, which is the boat and the team that races. Jim Caviezel stars in that wonderful movie, along with Bruce Dern, right? And they shot that all right here in Madison. So if you wonder, what are they talking about, Madison? Is it like Hazard? Is it like Mayberry? Does it not even really exist? No, it exists.
It's
So
its own
check
thing
it out.
now. It's special. It is. 100, I think it's 133 blocks of historic landmark. So when you come through downtown, you're like, what is this? This is frozen in time. It's beautiful. It's unspoiled. You don't have graffiti here. I mean, you will be run out
No,
of town
you're
on
right.
the rail.
Not even nowhere.
No, you don't have any trash on the sidewalk. There's
Nope.
no graffiti. There's nothing. It's perfect.
They just put these on the street lights they have. They just put these big, beautiful
Red, white, and blue.
planters. Well, they got red, white, and blue for the 4th of July, but big,
Flags.
beautiful planters with, I forget what these pink flowers are. But early morning when I go out and jog, I see the truck, pardon me, going
And they're
around
watering, yeah.
watering all these beautiful plants. It's just great. This is where the spiders were up on the courthouse and on City Hall for Halloween.
And then for
So-
fall, they put the corn stalks up.
Yeah.
And then it's a huge Christmas town. We have to do a Lifetime movie or a Hallmark movie. I'd prefer Hallmark. Or a Great American movie.
Well, I guess there went the Lifetime sale.
I know, but that's usually like people are getting killed and stuff. I mean, it's better if it's true.
I've done both, and I don't think people got killed
What
in
Lifetime
Lifetime
movie
movies.
did you do?
I've done
Somebody
a
got
couple
killed
of
or
Lifetime.
maimed. I bet they got maimed. What
I've
what
done-
Lifetime movie did you do?
Well, but to see,
You
that's a
don't
myth.
remember. You can't even
Well,
remember.
no, because you do a movie and then it gets sold to Lifetime, or
Oh,
you don't
okay.
do a Lifetime. Well, no, the Christmas in Tune with Reba was a Lifetime movie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I feel bad then because I was cute.
You ought to.
Because I thought that was more Hallmark. When I think of Lifetime, I think there's like in the
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different. What are you crazy? I did a movie called Shark Swarm with
Shark Swarm.
Shark Swarm
You
with
mean like the sharks? The
Swarming with Daryl Hannah and F. Murray Abraham, and there were
that's
children
Lifetime, wasn't it?
children getting eaten by sharks. No,
That
it was
was a Lifetime
Hallmark. No,
movie.
it was Hallmark.
Okay. Point
You
taken.
know not what you say.
All right. Point taken. Point taken. I had no idea.
You never know. And
that
by the way, we have
Hallmark
no
would
idea.
have a shark movie that would be like eating children.
Well, it was no Sharknado, believe me. But we don't know where Earls of Perry is going to show up.
But
Someone.
it's showing up.
Oh yeah. Well, at the very least, it'll be on our YouTube channel, and you can see it there. But so we'll figure it out.
That's fine.
We'll figure it out.
Look, we're fine with that. We look. It's just like the tour. We prefer the historic theaters. We prefer like place. What? What? Say it. You want to
Drinking moonshine. We prefer.
I did not.
You said we prefer. You did.
I did, but I didn't go.
It was implied. How much time we have left? Yeah, we have 4 minutes left.
We
Here,
do
excuse
have
my
fun
nose
now.
one time. It's always happening.
Is
Do
that
it
like
one
a
time.
foghorn leghorn?
I say, boy, boy's as sharp as a bowling ball.
We do have fun.
Actually, we don't have that much time left because we showed a video.
Oh, yikes.
Yikes. So we hope you've had fun. Please pay attention to what's going on in the news, and formulate an opinion, and shout it from the rooftops if you must. But make sure people know. We need to support. I think we need to support what we are doing as a country in the world right now. We were really kind of just buffoons on the world stage for I think for the 4 years in between the two Trump presidencies. I think the world was trying to figure out what they could get away with without us
I
doing
agree with
anything.
that.
I think Afghanistan was the single largest military mistake we've ever done.
Terrible.
But because I don't trust the last administration, you can make a mistake because it's a mistake, or you can make a mistake intentionally so that you get personal gain. Personally, I think that was what was going on. Right now, I do believe that we have a commander in chief, we have an administration that is willing to lose personally in order to gain for our country. You believe that? Mm-hmm. I believe that. She believes that. So if you're a praying man or woman, pray for our administration, pray for the world. I almost kissed my own hand.
Salty.
But let me be your salty dog. But we're doing good out there. I mean, I really believe that we are once again a nation who is showing that we're willing to take substantial risks for the good of not just us. We are Make America Great Again. But I do believe that what President Trump did and what our amazing military did with such precise hits, I think what we did in the last couple of days is actually going to make the world a much, much safer place. That's me. I don't know how you feel about that, but let's see what next week brings. It's going to be great.
Let's go out on You Are My Sunshine.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Whoop,
Oh,
pick a key.
that didn't work.
That was a pick
Start
a key.
again.
You start.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
See you next week.
Oh, God. Yep. This has been Drinks with Dee Dee.
And John.
That's me. We'll see you next week. No telling what we're going to talk about. We don't know. Do
Never
you?
know.
Bye.
Bye.